Hello students, how are you all? Hope all of you are well. Actually, in the previous video, I had explained you about the properties of materials, in which the first topic was appearance. Today we are going to discuss class 6 science chapter number 4, sorting materials into group. Our topic is the same, properties of materials, in which today also we are going to just do the revisions of appearance, hardness, soluble or insoluble of the matter. In the previous video, I had explained you about the NCERT textbook, page number, I hope the page number was 28 and 29, about the appearance of the matter. So, in the properties of a matter, I had informed you which type of property should be there, from where we should keep all this matter or the material, so we will get it whenever the time is required. As for example, if I talk about your mama's kitchen, right? Your mother is going to cook something, so she knows where the spices are kept. She knows if she want to prepare a tea. You just think that she want to prepare a tea. For preparing a tea, she requires milk. She requires little bit water, or not in water also, not water you can say. If she requires milk, she requires after then sugar, tea leaf, ginger and other substances. So whatever the substance she requires, she know where she has kept, so she can take that substances, and after then she can prepare a tea, she can give to your dad and you also if you drink it, right? If you take a tea, then definitely she will give you. Now question is what? Appearance. Appearance means existence. Existence means where do they exist. You must know that this material is kept there or where. Okay, so let's start our properties of the material. Have you ever wondered why a tumbler is not made up of piece of cloth? Yesterday I have described about why a tumbler is not made up of piece of cloth. Wherever you put your towels and all, why it is not made up of cloth? Because they know very well. Just suppose have you ever taken a bath into a bathtub? You might have seen in the movies, and if you are living in the well hi-fi area, so you can see the bathtubs are there. We are having a well bathroom, we know that we are taking shower, but when you specially visit to the bungalows, that time they are having a bathtub. In the bathtub you will see the people are just sleeping inside that bathtub. In the bathtub everywhere water is there. The water can be heated also, it can be cool also. Everywhere soap water, you have to just go and you have to take a good bath, right? What I want to say, if the bathtub would be made up of paper, then what would happen? It can't store water, right? So question is what? Here it is written in our textbook, recall our experiment with the pieces of cloth in chapter 3, and also keep in mind that we generally use a tumbler to keep a liquid. We generally use a tumbler to keep a liquid. Just suppose, paper cup, have you heard about it? In the paper cup we specially take coffee or tea, right? Are you drinking water in a paper cup? No, sometimes we take it. Why we are using a stainless steel glass only? Why we are not using the paper which we are writing, that cup, that paper's cup? Because we know that can't sustain the water. Similarly, therefore, would it not be silly if we were make a tumbler out of cloth? We need for a tumbler in a glass, plastic, metal or other such material that will hold water. Definitely, whatever the tumbler's material is required, from that material only the water can hold it. Next is, similarly, it would not be wise to use paper-like materials for cooking vessels. Yeah, they are just asking you that if you are using the paper-like material, that if you want to take a kadai, where the samosa is fried, so in that kadai, if you are using the paper kadai, what will happen? Whole kadai will be only burnt. No, they can't take oil and that all, right? So that's why. So we seen that we choose a material to make an object depending on its property and the purpose for which the object is to be used. Question is what? We just look at the properties. Means each and every material's property. We specially prefer to the properties, according to that only. Whatever the properties of that material is there, so according to that we can use that material. Got it? So here's what are all the properties of material that would be important for the usage. Some properties we are discussing. Appearance. Materials usually look different from each other. Woods look very different from the iron. Iron appears different from copper or aluminium. At the same time, there may be some similarities between the iron and copper and aluminium. They are not there. What they are telling you, they are just asking you that if we talk about the same material or the different material, the existence of the same material or different material, the characteristics of the same material or different materials made by different objects made by the same material. As for example, if we talk about the wood, wood is generally used to make a scale, window, doors, beds. For that we are generally using. But if I ask you about the metals, where the metals are used to make rods, because of that rods only our ceiling is there. Yes. Similarly, the rods are used to make grills. The rods are used to make different objects. So now question is what? These rods can be made up of different metals like aluminium, copper or iron. So this all the metal have different properties, but some of the properties can be seen because they all are metal. And we compare metal and wood, then definitely each and every property will be different. Metal are solid, wood are solid, right? But metal boiling point and wood boiling point will be very difficult. Burning point means when we heat to the wood it starts burning, but when we heat to the metal it will go for melting. So that's why each and every materials have their different uses. Now we are going to talk about the activity 3. Collect small pieces of different materials: paper, cardboard, wood, copper, wire, aluminum sheet, chalk. Do any of these appear shiny? Separate the shiny materials into the group. Here it's very easy. You have taken a lot of materials, and in this question you are going to separate only the shiny materials. Can you tell me what are the shiny materials? First of all, the materials I am telling you, the materials are paper, cardboard, wood, copper wire, aluminum sheet, chalk. Now observe the cuts each material into the two pieces and look at the freshly cut. What do you notice? Does the freshly cut surface of the sum of the materials appear shiny? Include these objects also in the group of shiny materials. Do you notice such a shiny or lustrous in other materials? Cut them anyway as you can. Repeat this activity with many materials as possible and make a list those with or without luster. Instead of cutting, you can rub the surface of the material with the sandpaper so it can luster. Materials that have such luster and usually metals, iron, copper, aluminum and gold are the examples of metal. Some metals often lose their shiny and appear dull because of the action of air and moisture on them. We therefore notice the luster only on their freshly cut surface. When you visit an ironsmith or workshop, look out for freshly cut surfaces of the metal rods to see if they have luster. Now question is what? How you will understand that this metal is shiny or not? What you have to do, you have to take that metal, you have to cut into the two pieces. If you don't have a material to cut, then take a sandpaper and rub that material, because what happens sometimes, because of the contact of air and water, these metals are coated. So because of this cohesion, they do not shine, right? So any metal is there and on that metal layer is already dipped, so you can't see the shiny material or the lustrous property. So you have to rub with the sandpaper. After rubbing, you will see that metals are shining. Then remember, these materials are shining. You have to collect some of the materials, you have to cut, or you have to say. Have you ever visited to goldsmith or blacksmith? Oh, have you ever seen golden ornaments or silver ornaments? Are you understanding golden ornaments means? Golden ornaments means jewelries, rings, and many more golden jewelries and silver jewelries. You will see a person which is wearing silver, when they have taken a new, just suppose this is my ring. When I have taken this silver ring, I hope 7 years back, on 2012 only, 8 years back, I have taken this silver ring. So that time it was very much shiny, as I can show that light reflection also with the shininess matter. But now as it has came in the contact of air and water, as it was earlier, now it is not like that. But if I will rub this metal again with the sandpaper, so again it will start shining, because they are having a cohesion of this air and water. Means they are having a layer of this air and water, so that's why they are not shining. You might have seen the stainless steel, yeah. So when you have you ever seen that Vim soap advertisement? Vim, the utensils cleaner Vim, you will see as the vessels are clean, it looks very much shiny. Similarly, have you ever seen aluminium vessels? In that aluminium vessel, when your mama cooks something, you will see after washing also that shining property they lose. But if we rub with the sandpaper, again that shining properties comes, right? So we have to collect the materials, we have to separate according to the shiny and lustrous and which are not shiny. Got it? Now the second property is hardness. When you press different materials with your hands, some of them may be hard to compress while others can be easily to compress. Take a metal key and try to scratch with it surface of the piece of wood, aluminium, a piece of stone, a nail, candle, chalk, and any other material or object. You can easily scratch some of the materials like, while some cannot be scratched so easily. Materials which can be compressed or scratched easily are called soft material, while the materials which are very difficult to compress are called hard material. For example, cotton or sponge is soft while iron is hard. In appearance, materials can have different properties like luster, hardness, be rough or smooth. Can you think this property to describe the appearance of the material? See, how many of you might have seen some of the person have the nature of rudeness or softness, that is called politeness, right? Similarly, when we touch any object, as for example, have you ever touched cotton, fluffy cotton? You will see it's very soft. Have you ever touched that Dove soap? When we put that Dove soap on our cheek, it looks very soft, creamy, yes? So what I want to say you, some of the objects have a hardness nature and some of the object has softness nature. So after touching, you can compress that object. So as it is being very hard or very difficult to compress, means the metals are having hardness property, and a metal or a matter or a material which can be compressed very easily, they are soft material. Got it? Any materials which can be compressed with very difficulty, which can be scratched with very difficulty, these are the properties of hardness. But a material which can be compressed or scratched very easily has a materials of softness property. Got it? So this was our hardness and softness. Now we are moving towards the soluble or insoluble. What is the meaning of soluble or insoluble? Soluble means a material which can be dissolved in water, and a material which cannot be dissolved in water is called insoluble. So let's read activity 4. Collect a sample of some liquids or solid substance. Collect a sample of some solid substances such as sugar, salt, chalk powder, sand, and sawdust. Take 5 glasses or beakers, fill each one of them about 2/3 with the water. Add a small amount of spoonful of sugar to the first glass, salt to the second glass, and similarly add small amounts of other substances into their other glasses. Stir the contents to each of them with a spoon. Wait for a few minutes. Observe what happens to the substances added to the water. You will notice that some substances have completely disappeared of the dissolved in water. We say that these substances are soluble in water. Other substances do not mix with the water and do not disappear even after the stir for a long time. Do not disappear even after stirring for a long time. These substances are called insoluble in water. Water plays an important role in the functioning of our body because it can dissolve a large number of substances. Do liquid also dissolve in water? See here, it's a very good question. First of all, see here, soluble and insoluble. As I had informed you, what is soluble? Soluble means when any substance is dissolved completely, 100%. As take a glass of water, take some amount of sugar, one spoon sugar, and stir that sugar with the help of that spoon only. After 5 minutes, you will not see a single piece of sugar in that glass. Why? Because it disappears, it dissolves. So the substance which dissolves in other substance are called soluble, and the substance or material which do not dissolve, as for example sawdust or wood dust, when the carpenter especially scratch the wood, so that time they give the saw and dust of the woods. So if you are taking the dust of the wood and you are trying to stir and stir and stir into a glass, thousands of times you are stirring, then also it is not becoming disappear, it is still appearing on it and it is not being dissolved. So the material which are not completely dissolved into the liquids is called insoluble, and the materials which can dissolve completely in the solvent is called soluble. Any material, just don't suppose about the solid only, liquid to liquid also, right? As for example, you just suppose in the water we have taken a kerosene oil and we are mixing it, then also you will see the kerosene oil layer is on the upper part and the water is down, because it is insoluble, immiscible liquids, they can't mix inside, so it is also called immiscible. liquids immiscible, and some of the liquids can be mixed. If we take, just suppose, water and milk, mix, stir it. Now can you see water? No, you can see only milk. You can't see where is water. Are you getting or not? So the liquid which are mixed, so they are called miscible liquids, and which cannot be mixed, they are called immiscible liquids. Similarly, in the solid substances, soluble and insoluble. There are many substances which are soluble also. If you are taking salt, sugar, or any other crystals which can be dissolved in water, they are called soluble, and which cannot be dissolved in water is called insoluble. So these were the properties of some of the materials like appearance, hardness, soluble or insoluble. I hope all of you are understanding about this, all the properties of the metal. In the next video, we will discuss about the other properties of these materials. That's all for today. I hope all of you have understood about these properties of metal. That's all for today. Thank you very much. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Share this video with your friends so they can also understand. That's all for today. Thank you very much.